What is good, YouTube? We are back. Today we have my full VOD review of our FNCS Trios run through for week 1. I was unaware that FNCS this season is actually 4 different weeks. It's going to be every Friday. I have 3 more left. So this is only week 1. I enjoy this format a lot because there's a lot of pressure going into these tournaments, and trying to rush through them, isn't always the best decision. So it really makes it a lot easier to calm down and focus when there's only one tournament today, but there's also another one next week. So in game number 1 here, we didn't really focus on our rotations as much as we could have. We had 60 people up. As you can see, we were 8 people below. We didn't see anyone all game because we just did a super long and far rotate around the edge, and it forced us to have to fight, which thankfully we did come out with the victory, because I think this team also had to fight. So that definitely helped a lot. And we were able to recover their mats and use those to further our rotations, but ultimately it was our lack of mobility and early rotations that eventually cost us game 1.
I'm dead. Help me. Oh god. I got sprayed through it.
Get out of here, Chief. Get out of here.
Yeah, you guys can get me. Yo. I'm up. They don't know where I'm at. Oh, now I'm dead.
I'm holding.
Hold another trios box. Yep. Just play your leg. Yeah, we just had to rotate earlier. No way. Yeah.
Similarly to game 1, we didn't rotate as fast as we should have, and we ended up rotating up a hill, and we ended up running out of our materials because we had to use them on such a far rotation. So that's the reason why we ended game 2.
Right above you on the stairs?
John, you can wait, and I have 3 flops on me.
How long?
I'm at 6.
Nope. Shockwaves is the only way.
So game 3 was unfortunately the learned lesson when it comes to Stark rotating zones, I should say. We needed to shockwave up because everybody that was on height right now was just spraying down at us. And look at the mistake I made. We were shockwaving, and I ran right on top of my teammate's shockwave, launched me right into zone. You guys are going to see how many enemies were actually stuck in the storm along with me. It should have been an easier rotation, but it's the lesson learned that whenever the storm seems to be pulling Stark, you need to make sure that that rotation happens ASAP. It needs to be your top priority. So we learned that lesson the hard way, but it's okay, because we're going to learn from it, and we're going to use it in the next one. So in game 4, I've noticed at this point in our tournament that we only have a few kills, and that's definitely one of our biggest weaknesses as a trio. Not that we're bad fighters, but we purposely try to disengage and not take fights that we feel like we don't need to, because endgame is truly so important. But because of that, we rarely get refreshes. So as you guys can see right now, I am all the way at low ground. I'm in a great spot, but I have nothing, and somehow I was able to pull out a kill with my teammate Chief. He made the play to drop down here with me. I don't think he did it, on purpose. I think he fell down just like I did. But I picked up 110 materials here in metal, and I could have used that to focus on us getting ahead, but I was unaware of that, and ultimately it cost me. So I need to be more aware when it comes to endgame.
It does not go up the mountain.
Oh.
Yeah, I got one pump.
Yeah, builds, Colby.
Dude, I must have picked those up then, because I did not have it.
Game 5 was actually super unfortunate because we had all this stacked loot, and we didn't have a terrible amount of mats on a rotation, but we ended up getting 2 refreshes right here. And after I get this kill right there, on my rotate back, my 2 teammates had already gone ahead, which they should have, and I couldn't make the edit. and it ended up knocking me. And then because of that, you know, my other teammate rotated back to see if he could help me, and he ended up dying because of it, and it costed us. So next time I just gotta make sure I can get that edit. In game 6, it was actually really clutch that I was able to be rebooted, and it was actually supposed to be a game changer. And as soon as I did, there was a team that was really far back on that mountain, and they ended up hitting a snipe on movability. So they had seen me just get rebooted. They hit snipe on the other kid, took off his shield. They ultimately ended up pushing. As soon as I went to go third party this guy, I get third partied myself, and one of us gets knocked, and ultimately, you know, the way we lost was because we weren't alive in numbers.
39.
Whatever, just try to get a kill, Kobe.
So in game number 7, we actually secured an amazing rotation, and we had really good mats. The one thing though is that we didn't get that refresh as a team, so I ended up dying because of a lack of mats. John unfortunately missed his shot right there, and Chief is gonna stay alive as long as he can, but ultimately, you know, you can only go so long in an end game without getting a single refresh. So that's definitely going to be the main thing we need to work on as a trio, but I'm sure that we can lock that down for sure.
Good placement here. One kid dies, Duo.
Mats.
Nothing. Good match.
I got nothing.
Let's go, Chief. Third place, boys.
So in game number 8, we were going to dedicate this one as our key game because we knew that we had too many games for the amount of time left to queue. So we ended up pushing Slurpee, and half the lobby came here, as you guys can see on the screen. It was absolutely crazy, and I was able to secure a pretty decent weapon for off spawn, at least compared to what all these guys had. So I should have got that kill, I should have got that kill, and of course this guy with the pistol ends up knocking me first and not my teammate Chief. He was shaking me down and it still wasn't good enough. John ran out of ammo in his pistol, and that's just how it is with a 50-50.
How many minutes do you think we need? At least like 5.
So
Right?
coming into game number 9, our third teammate Chief unfortunately ended up getting knocked, and we had to try and play the reboot, but we didn't have his card, and we knew that there was only 5 minutes left before the queue for game number 10, so we figured, you know what, it would be better off to just restart with all 3 of us. At least we have a better chance of making it to endgame and ultimately winning the game with 3 of us rather than 2 of us. So we just took this fight aimlessly, and we tried our best, but you know, we didn't have the best of loot as it was. So it's really what we can learn from that is to keep everybody up. In our final game of the tournament, we unfortunately fell to Storm Surge. As I mentioned in the tournament, one of our biggest weaknesses is that we don't fight a lot, and because of that we don't get that Storm Surge that eventually helps us, you know. And I did make the wrong edit. I should have gone straight right there. I totally could have made it instead of running around, but as soon as Surge starts to hit you at endgame and you can't get a refresh, it's basically chalked. So I think that, you know, in this tournament we played really well placement wise, so if we can just learn to pick up a few eliminations, whether that be mid game or end game, because we're usually not contested off spawn, which we appreciate, and that's kind of what we shoot for. But if we can learn to pick up those eliminations, I think we're going to do a lot better. But as I said, this was week 1 and we have a long way to go, but I think that we're in a really good spot as of the first week. So thank you all for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.